Good morning. Welcome back to Rehab Chronicles. I'm going to touch on a few things I forgot to mention in the last video and then go through day 8 of the alcohol experiment with you. Please be sure to give this video a like, a thumbs up, and share it with anybody you want. So yesterday, I was craving a drink after work for the first time since November. And it kind of sucked. I mean, it really wasn't that big of a deal. Would I have had one if I was still out on the street in the free world? Maybe. I don't know for sure. Because I'm not there. And I'm not willing to get kicked out of this program over a beer. Plus, I don't even like beer. So it'd be wine. But I was present through the craving, and I kind of sorted through it to the best of my ability. And then I prayed for it to go away. And I woke up this morning, didn't even think about alcohol until making this video. The next thing I wanted to share is something that the speaker from last night's meeting said. And that was that initially, so he was, a little background, this person has been sober for, I want to say about 15 years, a long time either way. And they totally have turned their life around, really shining example of success. And one of the key points that this person shared was that while they once believed they were addicted to alcohol, they later learned that on a deeper level, they were addicted to changing the way they feel. And that hits home with me because I've always asked myself, well, why did I never like being sober? Why did I start smoking pot when I was 15 years old? Why did that give me such a sense of relief? And where I've always gotten stuck in this self-exploration is I don't like feeling sober. And for the first time in my life, I'm learning to enjoy that. And I do enjoy the balance, the harmony, the clarity of mind, clarity of senses, which actually brings us to day 8 of the alcohol experiment by Annie Grace, titled How Alcohol Affects Our Senses. And the quote of the day is, "All our knowledge begins with the senses." Immanuel Kant. So your 5 senses are there to save your life. If there's a fire nearby, you need to be able to smell the smoke, feel the heat, hear the crackle to make decisions. You need to be able to see the fire to know if it's a dangerous threat or a campfire. I think we can all agree with that. But what happens to our senses when we drink? They're dulled. They don't communicate as effectively. Worse, our brains begin to lag. We might say something embarrassing, or we might drive a car into something or off a cliff. Blurred vision, slurred speech, numbness in the fingers and toes sound familiar. Even our sense of touch is affected as our ability to perceive pain decreases, as does our ability to feel pleasure. And then, just kind of as an aside here, I want to include this part for you. She goes, "Did you know that one of the most arousing scents for men is pumpkin pie? Seriously, it's an aphrodisiac." Wow, give me some pumpkin pie stat. She goes on to talk about memories. When we drink, we're dulling those senses of pleasure and robbing ourselves of wonderful, happy experiences. I love that part. It's bittersweet. We are literally robbing ourselves. We're cheating ourselves when we dull our memory and our ability to make new memories. Yep, I just licked my thumb to turn the page. Is it worth not remembering your child's birthday party because you just had to have a few glasses of wine to get through it? And he says, when I think about how many things I've missed that I don't even know that I've missed, I realize how much alcohol has stolen from me. So I was trying to catch up on this last night at the meeting, but I didn't want to be rude and be writing in front of people, especially when it's a speaker meeting. So I'm just going to go through it with you. The first journal prompt is your incredible senses. Think about your senses. Can you imagine what it would be like if you lost even one? Consider and journal about each sense and the impact that alcohol has on each. Blurring your vision, numbing your taste buds, impacting your sense of smell and hearing, and diminishing your ability to feel. Our senses are how we experience life. Have you taken them for granted? Well, if you've been following this journal with me, one of the things that I complained about, or one of the things that I'm grateful has changed, is I can read and I can focus now. Before, I used to try to read and it would make me nauseous. And reading is fundamental. Get it? It makes me feel really stupid to not read at least a few times a week, if not every day. I wear glasses because I partied too much. I used to have above perfect eyesight. So I don't live in regret about that one. But it's a constant reminder that, of the consequences of wear and tear on my body, and not to take my body and my senses for granted. And yeah, I'm one of those who's woken up the next day with scratches and bruises and cuts that I don't know where they came from. One time in the recent past, I vaguely remember hearing glass break. And I was on the phone with my girlfriend, and she heard the glass break too. Man, I had pieces of glass in me for weeks. That was not fun. Journal entry number 2, is it worth it? Understanding the impact alcohol has on our senses. Ask yourself why you may have wanted to diminish them or your experience of life. And be honest, there's no wrong answer, just a reflection for you and your journey. So I think I answered that one already. It's not that I wanted to diminish my senses. It's that I wanted to change the way I felt internally. Externally, I feel good. I feel great. I don't want to change this. Okay, and since I forgot to add this at the beginning of the video, but I put my mailing address in the description. So if you want to send me a letter, just make it out to Rehab Chronicles or Brian at Rehab Chronicles. All right. Have a great day, folks.